The video begins with the text PR Plus presents in pink on a yellow background. In this video, Yashna Vishwanathan, a counselor and mental health worker, talks to us on how to center desire and pleasure in the conversations with people with disabilities and hold space for affirmative reflections in therapy spaces.
You know, whenever I meet him in the lane at the back of my house and our eyes meet, the hair on my forearm stands up. When I'm by myself thinking about him a lot, I do imagine kissing him and I feel hot flushes all over my face. This is M22, female with cerebral palsy. My trans boyfriend doesn't like me to touch his chest part since he does not feel too happy about him there. I'm still getting used to it and I forget it sometimes. We both love getting touched by each other on our necks too. This is A, 18, and autistic non-binary. M experiences constant dismissal and erasure of her desires for this boy she dreams of kissing one day. M's family finds it odd and are alarmed when she expresses desires in these words and are concerned about her safety. Therapy then becomes one of the safer spaces and often the only safer and affirmative spaces for her to express her desires, talk about pleasure, and deconstruct normative understandings around these. A and their partner often have access to an online queer disabled community wherein they talk to others about sex positivity, queer desires, and relationships. This enables a support space that's away from feelings of shame, confusion, and anger that A experiences in other spaces. Some of my peer therapists and I talk about how do we hold space for conversations about pleasure, desire with people with disabilities. A space that's about holding love for their body minds in all the ways that they exist. When people with disabilities mention about being attracted to someone, wanting to pleasure themselves, or having sex with someone, many therapists operate from the space of neutrality, non affirmative, or being unsure of how to navigate because they don't have a lived experience of a disability. While as therapists, we may hone doubts about our role in working with people with disabilities, it's important to center accountability towards changing narratives around the community. This is especially crucial for women and queer folks with disabilities when their expressions of pleasure, desires, and sexuality have been for long censored and invisibilized. The politics of disability experience often brings shame, guilt, but therapy can acknowledge and affirm pleasure, desire, and pride. Here are some ways in which you can center desire and pleasure in your conversations with folks from the disability community while holding space for reflections of your role as a therapist. To introduce conversations about pleasure and desire in our sessions become important. At various points in the booklet, it's established that pleasure and desire are on the spectrum. The therapy space could be actively inviting of such pleasure windows that may not be very visible to the person yet. Inviting possibilities of how food, a visual, a hot shower, being around trees, touch, sexual feeling can be all pleasurable. It helps for some people to locate and map what body part starts to stimulate at the experience of these pleasures. This enables for these feelings to be more available and accessible in the face of shame and guilt that people experience. It's also important to recognize that pleasure and desire may be inaccessible for people with disabilities. This is because we only have access to normative understandings of what it can look like. And there are systems that legitimize some bodies over others as desiring and pleasuring. It's important to discuss alternatives and reauthor normalized versions of desires and pleasures. For this 25-year-old woman with chronic pain, in our sessions, we recognize that sexting, back rubs, The feeling tired cuddles and morning kisses are significant part of her everyday pleasures with her partner. She and her partner could recognize each other's versions of pleasure and found ways to complement that and hold space for that. The disability community experiences shame, dismissal, and erasure because the mainstream literature, media privileges men's or able bodiedness experiences of pleasuring and desiring. As a therapist, bring in books, movies, audio visuals that move away from normative understandings of desire and pleasure and offer possibilities of being for people with disabilities. One of the joyful moments in therapy sessions for some women and queer folks I meet and me is to watch Hannah Gadsby together as they affirm our queer disabled selves and hold space for our desires. Some of the reflections that therapists bring in peer spaces are about uncertainties, about navigating conversations about pleasure and desire, not having lived experience of a disability, or being unsure whether these are important conversations at all amidst the struggles that may be there in the lives of people with disabilities. This leads often for us to dismiss, invisibilize, and reject diverse ways of how pleasure and desire can look like. We hold immense power and accountability in therapy rooms to reimagine notions around what bodies can desire and be desirable. It is then important to seek peer supervisions for reflections, listen to the disability community, and center an intentional affirming stance towards these conversations. It's important to constantly unlearn and learn from the lived experiences of the disability community. For some people with disabilities you meet in therapy, knowing of group spaces or co creating some with them may enable conversations about desire and pleasure that invokes safety, exploration, and a sense of community. Often, people with disabilities are brought into therapy by their caregivers who may say that they are concerned and alarmed by expressions of desire by the person or make assumptions about the person's no desire for pleasure. Although the caregivers may be coming in from the space of concern and care for safety, it can be dismissive of a person's diverse ways of pleasuring and it can be harm doing to the person. Conversations with caregivers, even though are gentle invitations, are very much spaces for therapists to advocate for the rights of women and queer folks with disabilities. It may involve bringing in multiple stories from the community and acknowledging that pleasuring and desire are integral parts of the disability experience.
This video ends with two logos on a yellow background. The first one is a pink heart and a plus sign and has PR Plus written underneath, and the second one is a green and black eye and has point of view written next to it.